Welcome back, strangers. Today, we're going to be discussing horror narrators versus Reddit and copyright. If you're new to The Strangest, we're a paranormal and unsolved mysteries channel that travels to strange and haunted places around the world. We release a new video each week and do weekly live streams every Friday night at 8 p.m. But my name is Blake. I am the narrator / one of the editors for The Strangest, so nice to have you all here, and we'll turn it over to Ethan.
Great. Thank you guys for joining us. Really excited for this live stream. So we got, I'm with The Strangest. I help write, edit, and make like the outline for this. But tonight we have Mr. Davis with us and Kerri, and we'll eventually have Margbot. But you guys, both of you guys, introduce yourselves and just tell us a little about who you guys are and your channel.
All right, you want me to go next?
Sure.
All right, well, I'm sure none of you know who I am because I'm not a content creator per se. I'm just a really big fan of the listening to horror narration on YouTube for well over a year. And I was also somebody who had replied to the original post that we'll be discussing this evening.
All right. And I am Mr. Davis. I am a horror YouTuber / narrator, if you want to call me that. And I'm excited to get into this conversation.
It's going to be a good one. It's a conversation that has been going around a lot lately and something we've been looking forward to talking about. So I think it's going to be a good time. But hey, everybody in the chat. Sorry we're a little bit late. Just all technical stuff, trying to getting ready. But good to see you all. Hey, Tuxedo Cat, Lisa Bunny, Goodnight Goosebumps, everyone. Ghost Watch, Asian Persuasion, all the shout outs. Markbot's lurking in the chat. You need to come join.
No, that's how get on here.
Yeah. All right, you guys. So do any of you guys Reddit in general?
I read it every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm a very casual Redditor, I guess. Like I go to all the ones everybody goes to, like pics and puppy smiles and all the wholesome stuff.
Yeah. How long have you been a Redditor? Do you have an account, your own account, or do you just like go on and lurk?
Yeah, I have an account for my channel, but I never share anything there because it just gets like downvoted into oblivion because everybody's like, oh, it's self-promotion, and I don't know.
Dude, you have to do the bait and switch on them. You just have to learn what they like and just try to give it to them and then hope they don't notice. So
yeah,
just ease
exactly.
it in.
Yeah, Reddit's not a huge fan of YouTubers promoting themselves. We found that out as well.
Yeah, Reddit's strange for that. It's like you can get like 25,000 upvotes if you post a picture of something your sister did, but if you did it, it's not okay.
Yeah, you can't. You have to be like, well, look at this, or you have to just you have to really pander to the audience. So, but I mean, YouTube is kind of the same way for the algorithm and stuff now. You have to lay things out a certain way if you want it to get picked up and sync with everything, right? So, I've Reddited for a while, like for a long time now, like 5 years. My wife did it first. I had friends, but I used to always think it was really dumb because it looked like a really old message board at first. And then I got hooked. Like when I got a real job and had nothing else to do, I got really, really hooked into Reddit. So
yeah.
Goodnight Goosebumps said, "Fuck Reddit." Official quote by Goodnight Goosebumps.
And then he says, "I still get my stories from there, though."
I mean, that's where I learned about like a lot of stuff to begin with. I mean, it's a good source for anyone who doesn't know what Reddit is. It's like an online internet aggregator where people can post links to their favorite websites, videos, articles, memes, and everything. And then you can upvote like which ones make it to the front page, and you get this fake internet points for it, and you have bragging rights that no one cares about. But it's actually now the 4th most visited website in the United States behind Google, YouTube, and Facebook. So
really,
yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah, I mean that's where I get all my news and stuff from is Reddit. Like I don't even read articles and stuff anymore. I just read comments, just get the briefing of it. So
yeah, that's the funny thing about Reddit. It's like you can go on there and you can hear about a breaking news story, and then right under that is like a picture of somebody's dog or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Even when something really crazy is going like live, you can watch the live comments of everything. People be
Yeah.
given like detailed comments about everything.
Yeah, it's insane. Reddit has come a long way for sure.
Yeah, it's like it used to be 4chan. Now it's all about the Reddit. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I've
definitely,
never actually been on 4chan before.
from what I understand, it was a really toxic place, and it's just full of hatred and messed up things. So it's basically Reddit. I mean, it sounds like Reddit to me.
Yeah. I think it
Reddit,
depends.
but with more trolls.
Yeah, I think it depends on what board you go to. Because I know the X board, the paranormal board, can be kind of interesting sometimes. But if you go to like the B board, which is the random board, you just, if you're easily offended, I would stay away.
Yeah. 4chan just to me just seems like a more extreme Reddit that I don't really understand, so I'm just not even gonna try. So,
Yeah, 4chan's a weird one.
Yeah. The Ghost Watch said, "I've been on Reddit like twice ever." It's hard to even like stay away from Reddit on accident. Like twice ever, that's insane.
yeah, I mean, and actually a lot of stuff you see on Facebook is just reposted Reddit stuff rebranded. So I mean, if you're
Yeah.
on Facebook, you'll see Reddit stuff trickle in. So
Yeah, I used to stay away from it, and then like even with Ethan, I'd tell him a story. It's like, "Oh yeah, I just heard about this." He'd be like, "Oh, it was on Reddit 3 weeks ago." So it's like, all right, I guess I'll start paying attention to Reddit if I want to, ever have an enjoyable conversation.
yeah. So how is there a Reddit versus the YouTube horror community? How did all this start? So what's the topic of everything?
Everybody.
Kerri just left right when I was jumping into this. Sorry.
Yeah, she said she had to set up some things.
Okay.
But I mean, basically, it's just been a big deal of people, different channels around YouTube. And of course, it's not limited to the horror community, I'm sure, but using posts or stories off of Reddit, without permission, and or just using it in general, and then how, people are getting strikes over it. So it's definitely something that needs to be talked about. What is acceptable, what's not acceptable. And we're not trying to be, the YouTube police or even the horror community police, but it's something that as a creator, I think people need to know it for their own livelihood on the platform.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Like I like all the YouTube news and stuff, no matter whether it's like the Shane Dawson stuff talking about the everything he does, or just it's interesting, all the trends and stuff. And this is something that really hits close to home for us. But I mean, YouTube's not the only one who rips off of Reddit. I mean, BuzzFeed does it. Like BuzzFeed made a career off of it. We already mentioned Facebook. I mean, everyone steals from Reddit now. So
yeah, it's just, YouTube has vague, fair use laws anyway, rules, whatever. And so, and Reddit also has, vague. It's like, what I guess it comes down to, when it's put on the internet, is it still your intellectual property, or is it free for use? Can you claim that as your own property after it's out there in the internet? And it's obviously, in some cases, you can, because we've had channels that are getting striked over it. So,
because it's an interesting concept. Because like with something like Let's Not Meet, you have to assume that these are true things that happen to these individuals. So people look at something like No Sleep, and that it was written by an author. So I feel like some people don't feel the need to ask for permission from Let's Not Meet, because it doesn't take as much work to write something that happened to you rather than come up with a story and characters and stuff like that, like it would on No Sleep. And I think that might be where it started, because I'm not going to say any names, but I know a lot of narrators who just don't ask for permission at all, whether it's No Sleep or Let's Not Meet. And I think that's where it started.
Yeah. And I guess it all comes down to people being pushed with the YouTube algorithm to put out videos so quickly. And it's hard to wait what could be weeks or indefinitely to get a response. But does that give you the right to use it anyway? No.
Yeah, exactly. Because some of those stories are 5-6 years old. Reddit's an old site.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of creepypastas now, like, I can see where they originated on Reddit. Originally, a lot of them originated on Let's Not Meet, so they're just really old.
Yeah.
So they've just really spawned off their own. And that's my thing. If I was posting something to Reddit, Like I don't, and I usually post our scripts and stuff to Reddit, like our especially our older ones to try to generate buzz to sites. I mean to subs that don't let you post videos. And I don't, I just expect it to be free game from there. Like I never would ever, if I was trying to protect something of mine,
Yeah.
I would not just post it online. So, and I know like a lot of people use, a lot of like up and coming authors use No Sleep and Let's Not Meet to test stories or to test different things. And if I was an author like that, I would not be using the material I was actually going to use. I'd just be testing ideas and seeing how people react to certain things.
Right. Exactly.
So,
Yeah, it's a little weird. Like I've gone through in like the last week, I've been going through stories on Reddit and seeing what people think about their stuff being put on YouTube. It's kind of split. I mean, some people are like, "Oh my god, guys, you know, my story got used on a YouTuber's channel. This is so cool." And other people are like, "Hey, this guy didn't even use, you know, didn't use my permission." Then another guy's like, "Oh, I wish they had just used, you know, just credited me." So it's like everyone's split on it. So I mean, it's you never know what what each user is going to think. You can't just assume they're going to be okay with it.
yeah.
But Goodnight Goosebumps said I seen Reddit talking shit like a year ago about Let's Read and stuff. I knew they was coming then. Shake my head. Yeah, it's been building. Charlene said I know Chills and Let's Read get some of their stories from Reddit sometimes. They get it off 4chan, but they also get their stories from other platforms. Yeah, and I've noticed some YouTubers that do use, you know, they use fan submitted stories, like they have their own personal Reddit, and people will send them stories, and I think that's safe.
Yeah.
But
yeah, there's copyright free stories. I saw like I found one sub that's dedicated to no copyright stories where you post it and it's fair use from there. And I saw where Unit is a moderator on there. So I think that's a really cool concept. And because I saw when I was doing research for this, I saw people try to post threads like this on Let's Not Meet saying there should be a thing at the bottom that automatically tells you whether they want it to be like Creative Commons or whether they want it to be like protected automatically, which in a way makes sense, especially since there's this problem now and it seems like that'd be an easy thing to implement. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's something else. But one of the cool things about Mr. Davis is that he actually writes his own stories, which, you know, in this platform is pretty rare. I honestly don't know anyone else that does it. So, I mean, that's, of course, a safe way to play it.
Yeah, right.
But, yeah, it's tough. And again, like even if someone gives you permission, I'm not 100% sure that, you know, if they wanted to retract it, how YouTube would even handle it. I think it would just go to the court system. I don't think.
Yeah, that's technically a thing with Creative Commons is you can retract it after the fact. So you can retract the license. So, but I don't know how well you could actually strike it and everything. And I don't know, it gets really complicated. It's just interesting. This topic is really interesting when you think about, you know, copyright and copy strike on the main stage of YouTube. You think about like big corporations doing it. Whereas like in the horror community, you have like the little guys. So it's kind of like the opposite, which is really interesting. So.
Yeah, it's just crazy. But like I was thinking about it earlier, there's those channels that, you know, they just read like the 2-sentence horror stories and you know, they'll do like 20, 30 of them.
Yeah.
And it's what we were discussing before the stream went live about the actual strike system on YouTube. And all it takes is 3 people to strike your account for copyright and you're gone.
Yep.
Like there's no fighting back, you're just gone.
It's heavily flawed. I mean, I can speak from experience. We were talking about this before we went live. So I can kind of give people who aren't part of YouTube or create stuff on YouTube kind of an idea of what happens when someone from Reddit decides that they don't want their story in a video. So my situation was I took stories from the Humanoid Encounters subreddit, and I had gotten the guy who posted it, I had gotten his subscription, or not his subscription, sorry, his permission. So, you know, a couple months go by, and then all of a sudden I get 2 emails saying that I think it was 3 separate videos had been hit with a copyright strike. Full on strike. I had 2 strikes on my channel across the 3 videos. And then I get an email from the guy who did it, and he says, I heard my stories in your videos, and I don't appreciate you not asking me for permission. So I was confused. I was like, I'd asked the guy who posted it for permission, but it turns out the guy who had posted it took it from this guy's personal website and just posted it to Reddit. Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm emailing this guy back and forth, and I'm like, look, I'll remove the videos and I'll remove any other video that has one of your stories in it. And he was just not having it. He was like, I'll strike as many videos of that I have to not have this happen again. And I eventually I deleted all the humanoid encounter videos before he could strike me a third time, because that would have, terminated my channel. But that's just a good example of how fast it can happen. I mean,
Did you would you dispute any of those, or did you just like leave it? How did that happen? Because that
it's
seems
strange.
terrible if you have some sort of proof that said like, look, I tried. Like,
Yeah.
that dude's just a super dick. I couldn't imagine anyone like, what in the world? Especially if you had the thing like, look, I tried. I didn't know this was. I mean, that's an honest mistake.
And
Like, what in the world?
Yeah, that's what I told him. I was like, look, if you're gonna come to somebody about stealing your stories, talk to this guy on Reddit who just posted it with no source whatsoever.
Yeah.
But about like trying to fight it, the difference, there's copyright strike and copyright claim. A claim is something like if you use copyrighted music, they'll just take all the money from that video and maybe block it like worldwide or something. But a copyright strike is the person who owns that went to that video and said, this is my content and I do not want it on YouTube. So they take the video down, it's unwatchable, and you get a strike on the channel. And that's what he did. And it's scary because it happened so fast. Within the span of him emailing me and saying, hey, you used my stories, and me being like, wait, what the hell? I had 2 strikes, and like I said, it's 3 and you're out. You can't dispute a copyright strike like you can a copyright claim.
That is scary. That's crazy that counts as 2 strikes. I know it was like 2 incidences, but I think that if it's one person, that should be like 1 strike. If you're going by like a 3 strike system, like that should be like, oh, don't do that. And 2 right off the bat out of that's literally terrifying.
Yeah, it was terrifying because I think I only had I think I had like just recently hit 10K as well.
Yeah.
So it was really bad. But in his situation, I can understand. Like he could have went to YouTube and said, hey, here's the proof that I wrote this story. He can show them his site and things like that. But when it comes to Reddit, can just anyone, like Goose made a comment about throwaway accounts, can anyone on Reddit just like link a throwaway account to the story and say, well, I wrote this and I don't want it in this video, so copyright strike them?
That's what I was just thinking. It's like there is no real grounds to stop it. I mean, YouTube's so, finicky, whatever, they don't really care. Like a lot of times it's not even a human reviewing these things, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's to say?
And to go on the whole like human aspect of it, the only emails I ever got from YouTube were about the strikes, and you could tell they were automated.
Yeah.
I was with a network at the time. Well, I still am, but I switched to a different one. But I reached out to my network rep, and they were like, I mean, there's nothing we can do, So I don't know. There needs to be more communication as far as the copyright stuff goes. That's YouTube's biggest problem is communication, I think.
So the rep can do it. What network? Can you say what network? I don't want to put you on the spot.
Oh yeah, because I'm not with them anymore. It was like a really, pretty much anybody can get in kind of network. It was Freedom.
Yeah.
So they were kind of a new network. They weren't, the greatest choice, but I think I'm with Full Screen now. I think maybe they have more people working at YouTube, so maybe they could work something out. But I hope I'd never have to figure it out.
Hopefully not. Full Screen's pretty cool. Ghostwatch is with Full Screen. So
yeah, a lot of people with Full Screen. I think Blame It on George is with Full Screen as well.
I've watched him a few times. He's pretty good. I mean, I don't know. It's crazy. I mean, YouTube has pushed people to, like I said earlier, you have to have a pretty steady flow of content coming through. and then to, you know, stay relevant and to actually get the algorithm in your favor. And then it also pushes people to want their videos to be longer than 10 minutes because of the ads. So, I mean, that's, for example, I mean, each video of narrations, that's probably like 3 or 4 stories. And it only takes 3 people that made those stories to delete your account, basically. So, I mean, when you have a following and you're putting out videos, you know, twice a week, even, let's just say that, you know, in a month, you've got so many people that could take you down.
Right.
So, and again, even if you have their permission, you don't know if it's even their content. So it could be someone
That's something I didn't even think about until you said that story. Like, holy crap, man, that happened. That is terrifying.
Yeah, it's, man, I was a mess because I thought everything I had worked toward was like basically crumbling down in front of me.
Yeah.
And it seemed like there was nothing I could do. And that's a scary feeling because it happens so fast. I had to delete, I think, 12 videos because they were all humanoid encounters. And I didn't know if they had his stories in there or not, but
Yeah.
I wasn't going to risk it, you know?
So was he an author, or like what was his actual thing? Like, why was he trying to protect the stories, or did he just have like a paranormal website or something?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, some people here might know who he is or who I'm talking about, but he had like his own website where he would supposedly interview people who had these encounters, and he would write up their encounters on his website. And then that's where the guy from Reddit got them and then posted it there. So yes, it was his media, I guess you could call it. So he had every right to, because I hadn't gotten in touch with him, but he didn't see the part where I was like, hey, this guy stole your stuff and posted it on Reddit and said it was okay that I used it. So,
Yeah. I don't think, I mean, in the link economy, I don't think I would really be upset if someone, the only way I'd really be upset if someone was like re-uploading our content. I mean, we even got a collaboration off of Reddit from a script I posted, and they wanted to use the story. I'm like, yeah, if you link to the YouTube page, because that just came from our a video we did, so just post it, and we got like 50 subs off of it. So I was definitely happy with that. But if it was like some like really small channel that was making it look like it was their own video without linking to us, that's the only time I'd ever be upset. Because I mean, it's cool when stuff gets shared. Because I mean, it's cool when people like your stuff enough to share it. So that guy, I mean, if something of mine got posted to Reddit and then someone took it from there, I don't think I'd blame the person who took it from the person on Reddit. Like that doesn't.
right, yeah.
I don't know.
But from what I've heard, this fella in particular is very bad about copyright striking and all that. So
I mean, he
was
might be
kinda,
making money off of it now or something, because you saw that like now there's companies that literally just buy up content just so they can strike
Yeah.
it and claim it and stuff. So
I know there's a YouTube channel I watch called Daily Dose of Internet, and he used to do daily videos, but there's a company called like Junk Media or something, and they buy viral videos from people who posted them, and when somebody else uploads it, they strike the video so it can't make any money. So now he can't do daily uploads anymore because, you know, they'll strike it and he can't make any money. It's crazy how much power companies can have in such a short amount of time.
yeah, the media conglomeration. This is crazy how big like YouTube is now with mainstream media. Like these channels that got like full production. I mean, there's like literally mini TV channels behind them. So I don't know. It's scary for like up and coming people trying to make your own content. So
Margbot is here.
Oh,
Can you
hello
see me?
there.
Welcome.
Thank you. I
what
wasn't
are
sure
your
if you guys
initial
were gonna be able
thoughts
to
on
hear me.
this? Yeah.
Sorry.
You have to make it for lost time and carry the stream for a few minutes. So,
Yeah,
what,
so
what are your
That's
thoughts?
totally fine.
Yes.
You guys were asking about Reddit last I tuned in. I was actually driving home. So my thoughts on Reddit is, or they are, I actually I wasn't acquainted with Reddit at all until YouTube. And now they all hate us, which is not great. It's just I'm sure you guys covered all this stuff already, but it's difficult because a lot of people post their stories on there and they're throwaway accounts. So it's difficult to get permission on these stories, and some of them are pretty amazing stories that deserve to be told. But you know, you never get a response because whoever created that account may have forgotten the login, may have forgotten they posted the story at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm notorious about that too. Like, I mean, I'm not a story maker or anything, but I have a Reddit account that I used to use to post stuff in, like, No Sleep and 2 Sentence Horror Stories, just stupid stuff, and I never check it. So if someone, for any reason, wanted to get in touch with me, they couldn't.
Aha, so you're a culprit as well. You're contributing to this whole cycle.
That's why I'm on the stream. I'm a problem.
Yeah.
Clearly.
He's
We must
been the one
interrogate you.
striking everybody's video.
I'm the one that disliked. Yeah. But yeah. But now, Mr. Davis, when you got striked for this guy, did you link like his info in the one that gave you permission? Did you link his stuff in the description?
Yeah. I linked back to the original story and all that, and like I even when I was emailing the guy, I sent him the links to the stories and told him the whole situation. But I remember him saying, he was like, "Well, that's too bad. You're still using my stories."
What?
That's really crappy. He should have looked in the description and been like, "Oh, this is what's happening."
I don't know, man.
That'd be the first thing I'd check.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But then it comes down to, is that even enough? And I think a lot of people, my guess is the reason they're upset is because I assume you were monetizing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where some people get pissy about it.
I was making like 6 cents every year at that point, but
Yeah, I mean, YouTube's not a gold mine for like the horror community, even before like the ads and stuff. I mean, it's lucky if people can make a living, but it's not like the vloggers and everything else out there where people are blowing up. So it's kind of a niche thing.
It's really not, and it's funny because I won't say the narrator I was talking to about this because I don't know if they want their name in this, but I was talking to them about they were going back and forth with a Redditor who had posted their story to Let's Not Meet, and he used it, and then she messaged him on Twitter and was like, you can either remove the video or I want all the ad revenue from that video. And it had like 100,000 views or something, and she somehow came up with the crazy number of $1,000.
What?
And I'm like, you do not know how YouTube works.
Yeah, that's wow.
mean, yeah, and it's just funny to me. Like, that's because like the whole monetizing thing is, I think, the biggest issue for some people, because they really don't understand how little we make. There was a No Sleep story. It was like 4.5 hours long. So obviously, I monetized that because watch time and all that. And that video's got, I think, like 60,000 views, and it's made barely over $100.
Yeah.
If we're being honest. So if somebody were to message me and like, hey, I want all the ad revenue from that, and I send them $15, they're gonna be mad, but that's all you get.
Yeah. People definitely don't understand it. And like recently I've had someone, they're like, "Oh, how many subscribers are you up to now?" And I was like, "Oh, it's like 2,600. And they're like, "Oh man, when are you going to quit your job?" It's like,
you're making the big bucks at 2,600, man. Let me tell you.
So yeah, man.
No, I mean,
it's gonna be a while.
YouTube is strange. I just recently passed 30K, and I'm just now making enough. If I'm making the same at 30K than I would if I was working a full-time job.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how long it takes to really have a steady income. But
dude, you wrote the 30K thing was really good, like promoting it and everything. Like, it got me excited for you.
I just find it terrifying that, like you said, you just hit that full-time employment status, and that could be taken away from you at any moment if they decide. They quote, their guidelines, and they say, "Oh, due to guidelines, you don't meet these guidelines." I mean, they're like imaginary guidelines. Like, what are you talking about? So, I mean, I don't know how you do it, man. I don't know like, so much respect for the people who do it in this genre, and they do it full time, because, I mean, overnight your rent could be gone.
I mean, I've been doing it. I shouldn't have been doing it full time as long as I have, but I've been doing it full time since about 15K, I think. And that's just because I don't want to sound like a jerk, but like, my wife makes enough for us to survive, and I made enough at the time combined with what she made for us to be fine. We're not rolling in the dough by any means, but we're comfortable.
But you can pay the rent,
Yeah, I can pay the rent and the lights, and I can buy groceries and all that because I'm an adult, which sucks. But You know, it is what it
But
is.
you're still successfully adulting, even if you know it is hanging by a thread thanks to YouTube all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just scary. I mean, like imagine an actual, if you work at a retailer, for example, full time, a lot of places they have like a 3 strike system,
Hmm.
3 problems, you're out. And you go from not having anything, nothing wrong, you never had any issues, and then suddenly you're fired. Like you get hit for 3 different things the same day.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine how quickly your livelihood, you went from being okay to now you're, you have nothing.
Unemployed, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can get unemployment from YouTube.
No, you can't because
Probably
you are
not.
technically self-employed. So
Oh, yeah,
it's
that's
not, I
right.
mean, who are you going to apply to unemployment for, or say, oh, this is the employer that got rid of me. And you can't say, oh, they unfairly fired me because you're a contractor. You're self-employed, basically.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Can we contact your previous employer? Oh, man, good luck.
You give him your phone number, like, yeah, just call me up. I'll talk to you.
Yeah, it's definitely rough. And we actually wanted to have a Reddit moderator on the stream with us, so we'd have like a different opinion on these things.
Mhm.
But unfortunately, they did pull out. So
Yeah, I
wonder
messaged a
why.
lot of people on Reddit, and I actually got one person who agreed to it as a moderator of No Sleep. But then he was like, "Nah, let me double check with the rest of the mod team to make sure this is okay." Because we have an outline we're going off of for the stream, so I sent him the outline, and he's like, "No," he said I couldn't do it. I mean, he
Oh
said
my
we're gonna
gosh.
decline. He didn't say we couldn't do it, but I mean, I wanted to have a different perspective on it because I don't want to make it look like we're also witch hunting Reddit stuff. I wanted
Yeah.
it to kind of be fair because I mean, it's just an interesting thing and how it affects YouTube and in general everyone who's getting hit with it or in the adpocalypse and everything. So, I mean, and the new guidelines to get monetized. We just got monetized like 3
I was
weeks
just
ago.
about to
So,
say that actually,
Yeah,
because
I was
when I got
curious
to
about that.
stream for the first time, I got, ads, and I think this is the first time I've ever gotten ads on your channel. And I know you weren't monetized when I interviewed you guys a couple weeks ago. So I was like, yay, finally.
We got really, really lucky. I really had given up all hope of it ever being monetized.
I remember you were asking if, other folks had been monetized already that had to apply for all that. But here you are, monetized.
yeah, it was a great feeling. We were like, I sent Ethan a text. I was like, "Holy shit, it happened!"
Did they actually let you guys know, or did you just access one of the videos and it popped up with an ad?
They
They
sent us
sent us
an
an
email.
email.
Yeah.
Oh, good. At
Yeah,
least
so
they're
we were super
responsive for
excited.
that.
Yeah, it was a great email. Usually it's just like automated bullshit from YouTube. Like, I don't know. That was automated too, though. So
the only emails I get from YouTube now are saying that your video is not suitable for all advertisers.
yeah.
The video that went up
I don't
tonight
even
was
get those. They just, they put that yellow dollar sign next to it. They don't tell me that it's not eligible. They just I have to manually find out.
Yeah, the video that went up tonight was completely demonetized.
That's crazy.
Whatever.
Now, Ethan, like when we first were monetized, we had probably a handful of videos that were, deemed unsuitable, but I think Ethan said some of them got fixed.
Yeah, we had a couple of our unsolved ones that initially popped up not suitable, but others it kind of switched a little bit. There was like 2 or 3 that were yellow originally that turned green, and then there's like 2 or 3 that eventually turned yellow like the next couple of days.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're literally
My question on that is, I mean, I don't know if any of you guys know the answer to this, or if somebody at YouTube can answer, but when you get transferred over to yellow after you've had the video up for 2 or 3 days and you've had those views and obviously those ads have been put out there, are you still getting that money? Or is it like, no, never mind, you don't get any of it, even though we did monetize your video for a minute? And they obviously made money off of it.
Yeah, you still get it.
Okay.
Well, good.
From what I can tell, anyway. The only problem is if a video goes up and it's monetized and it's up for like 2 or 3 days, if it gets hit, it's like it's just not promoted anymore. Like it gets taken out of suggested, and the views just plummet from what I've seen. And a lot of YouTubers have made videos about it. It's definitely true, even though YouTube won't admit it. But as soon as something's demonetized, it's just kind of like thrown into the void that is YouTube.
And that's something we noticed. Like before, like in January and February, we were experiencing like the best growth we ever had. Then in March, we just hit like this roadblock where we weren't growing like at all. We grew like 5 5% each month in subs, when before we were growing like 20 or 30%. And now we just got monetized 3 weeks ago, and this is our first month we've grown over 10% in subs since we were monetized. So it is definitely iffy. So I mean, I like the growth. I'd like to grow and keep growing, but there's definitely some behind the scenes stuff to it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, the horror community is kind of being attacked by all sides. You know, you've got Reddit coming after it, and you've got YouTube demonetizing everything that's somewhat inappropriate. Like we had a rabies video that got demonetized. It's like, it's rabies. Who does that offend? So
but then you see the stuff that's trending, and it's like, how is this even appropriate?
well, I think after you get to a certain point where you're making YouTube enough money, they really do turn the other cheek on it. I mean, you've got all this crap like the Logan Paul incident that was actually on the front page of trending and all that stuff, and but they're making enough money. It's like, oh, well, it's okay for them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of big YouTubers that I'm sure if we nitpicked it, you know, should have been demonetized but weren't.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they go harder on the smaller YouTube channels because they don't pay attention to them as much, and maybe they're just like, well, you know, this will keep them in check. But
I think it's just they don't want to, for lack of a better term, they don't want to waste their ads on these smaller channels. They want to focus on the bigger channels and put all the ads there. So I think what they're doing now is they're putting their focus on channels that may be small, but they have like a promising future or a promising track record, and they're fine with that. They'll let you know, just slide, but you step a little bit out of the line, and not too many people are watching you, or you know, the algorithm doesn't seem favorable for you, and that's where they're like, nope, forget it. We're taking this many subs, or we're demonetizing your videos, you know?
That's sad.
It's almost like they're trying to kick you out. At least that's how I feel.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I understand from a business perspective. You're putting these ads out, you definitely want them to get as much traction as possible. Mm-hmm. But still, I mean, you've got to, you know, big YouTubers don't just pop up out of nowhere. They come from small YouTubers. You have to support everyone to, you know, help them grow into their true potential. And the more you do that, the bigger of an audience you're going to have for the platform. So, but YouTube just doesn't really care that much.
I think it's also because they're now turning more towards their YouTube premium TV services, or just their premium services. So we're kind of starting to get left behind as content creators, because they're trying to turn into Netflix and Hulu and all these other streaming services. Mm-hmm. So, you know, they're saving out for that, and we're getting the minimum support here. I mean, I think this was during the Mr. Davis stream. I forgot which one, but during one of my streams, I pointed out how YouTube space here in LA used to allow groups to meet. Like, you know, there was like the cooking channel group, and the vegan group, and there was a horror group for a little while. At least I was only a part of it for a little while. It was actually going on for way before that, but they stopped allowing that. They're like, oh, you know, we'll let you know when we figure things out, kind of thing. And that's never happened. You know, you can only meet there now, or actually borrow one of their rooms, or reserve one of their rooms rather, if you have more than 100K. If you don't, then, you know, there's no actual group meetings.
Wow.
So that's just more proof that they're slowly easing away from helping out creators that aren't making them a ton of money.
Yeah.
It's going to end up, you know, biting them in the butt in the end, you know, in the end game, which they don't care about that right now. They've got their handful of people that are making them enough money.
Yeah, I just, you know, once somebody else comes out with a platform that can actually compete, then they'll care. But I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon.
Mm-hmm. And like, I think the question is, like, if something does come along that can compete with YouTube, is it even going to matter? Because I mean, at that point, you know, more and more people are going to be they're going to have YouTube Premium and YouTube TV, and that's where all the money's going to end up coming from. And it's like you said, they're going to stop caring about the creators and more about, I guess, the business aspect of it, the more mainstream aspect of it.
Yeah, maybe they won't care, but we for sure will care.
Yeah.
I think YouTube has just been around for so long. They've now integrated with Google, so they got the best search, the best monetization, the best ads. They do it so well. I mean, I think Instagram TV has the potential, but like I've dabbled with that, but like their search integration and discovery is terrible. Like regular Instagram has better discovery than Instagram TV. And then Facebook is dabbling in stuff, but they're like Facebook is literally like the super wild west of videos because you can just like steal anything and post it on
Yeah.
Facebook, and it's nothing. And like music, all those other in Twitch, it's literally like the wild west. And I guess you have the potential to grow, but you don't have a way to make money. Twitch does now, but I mean, Instagram, if you're big enough, there's influencers that get brand deals and everything. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's just YouTube. It seems like it used to be such a great platform. Like it seemed like, you know, anyone could be successful. Like it wasn't as much of an algorithm as it was your content.
Yeah.
Like if you were good, it's good. Now it's more just like if we think you're good, if we think you'll make us money, we'll promote you. If we think that our sponsors will like you, because I mean after Adpocalypse, everything just kind of went to hell.
Yeah, I think now you still have a chance to make it. I don't know about in the future with YouTube, but I think like now for people starting to create, you could really grind. And if you have like a plan and you don't worry too much, let this stuff worry you. Just keep just making content. I think you could make it. But I mean, if you listen to all the bad stuff, it's really going to weigh you down and make you mad. And especially when you think about, I mean, the problem with like making content is some things seem like overnight when you see viral stuff happen, or if you see someone who only has like 5 or 6 videos all of a sudden shoot up in subs or something, it makes you think and question things. So there's a lot of like doubt in your mind. And even with the monetization now thing, if you're a small channel, if you hear like someone else, you know, got monetized, but you haven't gotten your email back, that makes you doubt things. And it's a struggle. You just have to like kind of put your head down. That's why I like social media. It sucks being a creator and having like try to do social media, because then you also see what everyone else is doing and you're like, fuck, why am I not like that right now? Like, why am I struggling? So
social media is just, oh man, it can be really, really bad if you let it like overtake you, I guess. Like there have been, I've having to take like weeks off Twitter just because it's just toxic over there sometimes. And it's like you said, you know, you look at other people and you're like, why didn't I think of that? Or why am I not where that person is successfully? And you know, it can be bad, but it's part of the job.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to see people pass you. Like there was one channel, which it's kind of a happy story, I guess, but I came across a little animation channel recently, and I was watching them. I was like, wow, they're really good. They must be a big channel. And they only had like 10,000 subscribers. And I was like, I mean, only, it's more than we have, but still, like for their quality, I was like, that's insane. And like a week later, I went back to look at them, and their last video was 100,000 subscribers special. And I'm like, holy shit,
Yikes.
That's crazy in a week. So, I mean, it can be done. You just, I guess, got to hit the right person or the right, you know, hit the right video.
You got to hit that thing. It's funny, man, because like being scared's a really good example. I had him on my channel when I was about 8K, and I think he had 1K, and now he's like, I don't even know, like 150K or something. Like, I don't know what happened. He just exploded, and I'm like in the background like, hey man, don't forget about me.
That's insane. It's so much. Like just thinking about how hard it is to get 1,000 subscribers and to get, you know, 100,000. That's such a huge thing.
The first 10,000 is, I think, the biggest hurdle, because once you hit like the 5 digits, you're like, well, I feel like I've finally made it. You know.
I'm just glad our subs are going up again, because before we had really come to a crawl on our monthly sub growth. But we had also, I mean, one thing that really kept us going was our like community around it had grown, so that was good. So it wasn't like we were too worried about, and also the whole thing now where not all your subs like see your video, like only like 10% of our subs at best see your videos. Like the analytics that tell you your sub views, man, that's depressing as fuck.
Yeah, it really is. So, like I've had people like I recognize people in my comment section. You know, a lot of people come by often and comment on every video, and then they just won't show up for like a week. And then they'll come into a random video and they'll be like, wow, I didn't even know you uploaded. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I upload 3 days a week, every single week. How do you, like, come on. It's not that hard to send out a notification. At least I don't think so.
Well, to everyone out there, if you want to keep in touch with our stuff, remember to subscribe, hit the bell button, email us every day, call us, and
Talk
I
to us
don't
on
know.
Discord.
Tell us on Discord, tweet us, and then maybe
Private
we'll
message
notify
us.
you that we have a new video.
Yeah.
Because YouTube just, I mean, like the whole bell button not doing it, that just blows my mind. It's like, not only, I always thought the bell button was annoying. It's like, I already hit subscribe. I want to see their content. Now you're saying I have to hit a bell button. And now they're like, even if you hit the bell button, you're not guaranteed to get this, get the notification.
It's become a joke. Like I watched Philly D's newest video, and like at the end, he's like, "Subscribe if you're new and click the bell for shits and giggles." I guess.
Yeah,
He's like,
it's
maybe
true.
you'll get a notification, maybe you won't. Who knows?
It's just insane. Like I can live with the bell button being, if it was a surefire way you're going to get it. Don't fuck with it. Like don't, if I'm hitting a bell button, don't just give me the ones I watch, more of, like every single one. I want it I want to be able to choose. Like YouTube is just taking the initiative to be like, hey, it's gonna be great. It'll be great. Just don't worry about it. It's like, just leave it alone.
Yeah.
When we were talking about earlier the strengths of YouTube, it's almost now like YouTube's also like analytical approach to everything is also becoming its weakness. So that is giving other other platforms the opportunity to steal from YouTube if they really take up. I really think Twitch has the best chance because I mean they're backed by Amazon and everything. Facebook, if they somehow like do, I mean there's a lot of potential there because it just seems like YouTube right now, it's like people are just paid to fuck shit up. It's like, what can I have to make my job relevant today. What am I gonna change? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, Twitch is, at the very least, is keeping YouTube on its toes. But from what I understand, they have a lot of problems themselves. So
I think Twitch's biggest issue is what is it? It's like not necessarily community guideline stuff, but Twitch has been classified as like an SJW platform.
Yeah.
Because it's like if you say something just the slightest bit controversial, like they'll shut your channel down for like a week or something. I don't know how Twitch works, but they've been really bad about that.
I mean, YouTube now, if you get a community strike, you get 3 months without streaming, and you get taken out of the algorithm and all of that. So, because CalChop got a community strike for a tripod video they did like 6 months ago, and now they're suffering through like they showed like the dip that they got, and they're with Rooster Teeth and Full Screen, and they're a big channel, and they still took a massive hit from a community strike. So. And that's just when YouTube just decided, like, okay, we're tired of this Tide Pod stuff. Months after the trend is done, we're gonna go through and we're just gonna like hate on the creators that made a video about it. So,
well, it's like a lot of people were getting strikes about the Logan Paul incident, but Logan Paul didn't get a strike about the Logan Paul incident. So he got his video taken down, but like people that were making videos about it started getting strikes. So
yeah,
it's very pick and choose.
Yeah.
But again, you never know. Like the world's become so PC. Like you could put something up and not even realize it's that offensive, and then suddenly your channel's on the blacklist.
So. All right, here let's jump back to the outline. So, like with fair use, what do you guys think of fair use? What do you think is fair use on YouTube? Because YouTube's really hit or miss with things, and some people say like being a part of a network protects you more, gives you more leeway with using stuff. And I don't know how, that's just a conspiracy theory. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I mean, fair use is interesting because what it all boils down to is that word transformative. That's what the whole thing was with the H3 lawsuit. It came down to the content you're using. Well, it can be someone's content, but is it transformative enough to be okay to include in the video, and that's where the narration thing kind of falls off, because you're reading a story word for word. Is that transformative enough to consider it fair use?
Yeah.
And it's a hard question to answer.
Yeah, like I love PewDiePie, but his videos are super not like, I don't really find them that transformative because his content is literally just generated from his subreddit, submitted, and then him reacting to it, which I guess is transformative. It seems like the laziest form of transformative.
Yeah.
And I love PewDiePie. Like I think I don't know. And I don't see it. Like with us, I've wondered, like us, if we write our own script and have everything, our narration behind it, could we just use like random videos from the internet that tell the story? Because I mean, that's in a way
Yeah.
transformative because we have the story and everything. We're just using the clips to show it. And I know some channels that do that, and that's interesting because sometimes it is a struggle when we're like, oh, I don't have this film, and there's no way for me to get it, and there's no way I can just find like a Creative Common thing or find someone to ask permission that's actually going to respond to this.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know, but fair use with Reddit though. Supposedly in their terms of service, like if someone posts to Reddit, the person posting it, if it's their work, still owns the copyright to it. They just grant Reddit like a infinite royalty free use of it. But also Reddit also gets a license that they could give to someone else. So if you paid Reddit,
Right.
theoretically, they could be like, hey, you can make a book on like Let's Not Meet stories or No Sleep stories. And as long as we get a cut of it, it's fine. We don't have to pay the creator because they willingly submitted this to our platform.
That's so interesting to me.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I got from it too. It's just basically Reddit can do whatever they want with your content.
Jeez, I thought YouTube was flawed. That's terrible.
Yeah. That's in their terms of service, though. In terms of service, depending on your country, like in America, it's binding, but like somewhere in Europe, like the European Union now is saying that since no one really reads the terms of service, it can't be a binding contract. So
Right.
it just depends.
Yeah, that's scary though. Like, what if Reddit got it up its ass to go and just claim every single Reddit horror, anything from Reddit on YouTube? It's like, hey,
Oh my God.
we technically own this.
That would be
like-
insane.
But they could do it. In theory, they have the right.
Yeah, I guess so. Shit. All right.
Yeah.
Something that I meant to mention earlier that people that we hadn't talked about is also that the horror YouTube community kind of also grew these subreddits. Like they made them popular to people who had no idea what Reddit is. I mean, I've talked to a couple of our subscribers who still like say, oh, I never go on Reddit. I mean, I just watch the YouTube videos.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the only way they know what like Let's Not Meet, No Sleep, and all of that is, it's just from creators posting videos. So
Right.
it's almost like free advertising to their website.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't think Reddit needs any more advertising, man.
yeah, I mean they're behind. Well, also if you think about Google or Alphabet, they have Google first, and then YouTube is the top two like websites
Yeah.
in the world. Like that's insane.
It's so crazy to me.
Yeah, but I mean, then you've got Facebook and Instagram. They're also the same company, and they've they've got such a big force.
Like borderline monopoly over here.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
two companies going at it basically. But yeah, it's crazy. But I mean, and a lot of people have said, why are the Redditors getting mad? Because we're, by doing these videos, we're shining more light on those subreddits, causing them to grow. So I mean, there are benefits to the subreddit. But
Yeah, I've heard that argument a lot, and I get it, but I don't know. I guess I could see where people are coming from, because it's like, if I take the spot of a Redditor, I could say, well, I spent however long writing that out and, making sure it sounded right and everything was fine. I would have really appreciated, at least asking me if it was okay, because there's more instances of people not asking than asking, I think, anyway, from what I've seen behind the scenes, So I get it from both sides, being a YouTuber and being someone who uses Reddit on a daily basis.
yeah, and I'm the same way. Like if I put something out there, I'd feel the best if someone asked me. I would definitely be like, yeah, definitely you can use it. But I mean, as long as they credited me, I'd be like, okay, at least they're not just straight stealing my content. If I saw somebody have my story word for word, or even, they took it from me, they don't mention me, I would probably strike the fucking video. I'd be pissed because that's plagiarism. It's like, cite your sources. That's the biggest thing. Like, even, I'm not saying don't get permission, get permission, but I mean, at the very least, cite your sources. Because you will get called out on it. We've had people call us out when we did cite our sources just because they didn't check the description.
Oh, yeah, we cite our sources and we write our stuff, and we've had people be like, "Oh, you just used this article." I'm like, "That's literally in the description that we use as a source to write this." And I mean, even like Reddit comments have inspired it. Like our Reddit comment inspired the rabies video, and that's in our sources. And someone's like, "Oh, this reminds me of this random ass Reddit comment I saw years ago." I'm like, "Yeah, I even put that in the description. That's what inspired this whole video, man. Just check that out."
I saw someone who commented on one of our videos, like I think it was this week, and they were like, "You straight up stole this from an article and didn't cite your sources, and this source is 17 years old or something." And then they went back and
They
changed
said
it
it was
to
19 years old, and then they edited their comment when they actually saw that we did source it and everything.
Yeah.
It's annoying, but Goodnight Goosebumps earlier said a really interesting thing is you could technically just change, like you could take a story and then just change it around. You can just take the basic plot outline, change the names, the like the setting, and then boom, it's your story. Like the whole good artist copy, great artist steal type of thing. So I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
That does make sense. I never really thought of it like that.
Yeah, because I mean, how can they say? Because I mean, ultimately, those stories, I mean, they're really good. Like, I love Let's Not Meet the most because I mean, that's supposed to be true. No Sleep's good, but the doubt in your mind, that's made up. But if you have that basic, you know, that plot twist or whatever at the end, if you save that and just change everything around that and build to that same point, I mean, that's your story now, but you use someone else's work to get there, which is kind of how music works. Because I mean, music in its way is all derivative. That's why you have remixes and everyone building off of it. So
yeah,
I don't know. Makes you think.
Yeah, it's definitely scary. But sorry, I've been neglecting the chat a little bit.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah, thanks everybody for joining us.
About, you know, just everything. They got their own thing going on.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just a big thing. I mean, you can never really be too safe. And that's something with us, like when we first started, our whole thing is we travel to the places that we talk about. So we have our own footage to use instead of like a still photo. And that was like, okay, we won't have to worry about copyright as much.
How do you afford that?
Yeah, but it's rough. The hotels.
I mean, we travel a lot to begin with, so that's why. And I like before we did the channel, like my favorite thing was like paranormal stuff, and I like vlog style videos too. So I was like, we could just combine the two. So I mean, Blake has to travel for work. I try to travel like I grew up like traveling, so I try to do it like every 6 months, go somewhere. So instead of just going, I just want to film a bunch of haunted stuff or like unsolved mysteries while we're there. I just look up stuff in the area. So
that's insane, man.
And then you still miss stuff. And sometimes like things are spur of the moment. Like I have a friend in South Carolina, and it's like, oh, I have a chance to go down there for the weekend. I have to Google real quick stuff that's haunted along the way. I don't read the stories really beforehand. I just have like a basic outline of things I have to film while I'm there. And then afterwards, I'm like writing the script, and I'm like, fuck, I kind of missed this. So I have to like work around that. So, but it's fun.
Yeah, that's why we were so excited when we got monetized, because it's like, oh, we are thousands of dollars in the hole.
Yeah, well, if you think about it, if you like accrued everything, we do not have a good business strategy, but it's fun. Part of it's just being able to share an experience in a different way. Because I mean, travel vlogging and like stuff like that. I mean, a lot of people do that, and it's kind of saturated. Then this gives us a way to like kind of be a little bit different than other like paranormal channels. So
yeah, we definitely visited places I never would have been without the channel.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
we just got to go to New Orleans. That was something I never thought I'd be able to do. Like that was a great time. But you know, it's the money. It's nice to really. The only thing I wanted from YouTube, like I'd be fine if YouTube just, you know, not necessarily even made a profit, just kind of facilitated our trips. Like if it paid enough for just hotels, I'd be happy.
Yeah, that's the long-term goal, is like be able to just travel, like save up whatever YouTube revenue or anything we make from the channel and be able to travel every so often with it and just film. Because on one trip, like the New Orleans trip, we could get like 6 months worth of content, because like the channel was born, like our original content came from like me and my wife's honeymoon. We went to like England and like Iceland and all that stuff and filmed along the way. And we still have content from that that's still stored. So
yeah.
But so how long have you been on YouTube? Because usually like when we're like,
oh man,
if it was just you, if you're the topic of the stream, I would have like done more research. But how long have you been doing it?
I've had this channel for 2 years, I think. And before this one, I had another one that I had for, I think, another 2 years. So altogether 4 years. But we're not going to talk about the first channel because that's bad.
So what made you make the second channel and like take it serious or do more? Like when did you see like the opportunity for that second channel?
The first channel, I think it's funny. I think I took it too seriously. Like I was so focused. I had a bad mindset on the first time I did it because I was like, I want to get really big, really fast, and I want this to be my full-time job. That was like my mindset. And that channel reached 100 subscribers.
I thought you were gonna say 100,000.
No.
You like delayed right there. I was like, what?
Yeah, I mean, it's something I'm super proud about, but you know, it was a stepping stone to where I am now, so I can't shit on it too much. But and then I saw that wasn't going anywhere, so I was like, okay, let me start over and try again, because I took like maybe a year off of YouTube completely before I started my new channel. And my whole idea with this one was I don't want to be completely faceless, you know, like a lot of the narrators are, which is why I got a camera and all that good stuff. But instead of focusing more on making this a full-time job, I just focused on making stuff that I was happy with and stuff that I wanted people to watch. Yeah. It sounds corny, but you know, that's how you make it on YouTube. Really.
I mean, you have to have something that keeps you going, because if not, there's so many little things that you can get to. I mean, just in general, like you said, just having like patience, because if you see other channels blowing up and you can get in your mind like, why is that not me? I'm putting my heart and soul into this, and this is just, to me, like, this isn't my job. This is just for fun. Like, and they're just half-assing a video that just got a shit ton of views and subs. Like, what in the world? So, I don't know.
Yeah. By the way, Margbot, she dropped out. Her new router crashed on her, and so
that sucks.
Yeah. So everyone, sorry, she might be gone.
Drop F in the chat.
But she wanted me to tell everyone thanks for watching. She appreciates it. So
I'm glad we could have her on for a little bit. Like, the internet sucks though when it goes out.
Dude, my internet is so bad.
Yeah.
No. Like, hey, spooky whispering. Sorry, continue.
No, you're fine. Like the plug that I have my router in, like I have a like a power strip plugged into the wall, and then everything for the router and modem plugged into that. And it's so loose that sometimes my dog will walk by and bump the cord, and then my Wi-Fi will be out, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Why can't I upload this video? And my dog bumped the cord. God, it makes me so mad, man.
Mine's a little iffy too.
Yeah, losing internet is a YouTuber's worst nightmare.
Yeah, my biggest problem is losing power. I used to be so confident in my, electrical system, but then we had a tornado scare and the wind's really bad. And ever since, the power just randomly decides to go out for an hour at a time.
Oh, nice, dude.
So it's like, hope that never happens on a stream, but you never know.
Yeah.
But was it After Dark Analysis asked earlier if anyone's tried to strike us on the footage we've shot. No, not to my knowledge. If they did, I'd be so butthurt. Yeah. I'd be like, who the fuck do you think you are? It's like, we traveled hours to get this footage.
Yeah.
The only thing we've had is people try to do these really scammy brand deals. Like, all the time we get these emails, they're really, really sketchy. I'm like, do people take these? Because this just seems like you're trying to fuck people over.
Yeah.
So,
Boo Road said, I'm sorry, continue.
And stuff like that is it's so strange to me. Like, I've had brands reach out to me before, but it wasn't like, we'll pay you this amount of money for a 30-second ad. It's like, we'll give you a discount code for your fans and you get 10% of that, whatever they buy. So it's basically nothing. But every once in a while I'll get this email. It's like, I just got done watching your makeup review video and I was curious if you were interested in this product. I'm like, what? No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, what the hell video you're watching?
Copy and paste it to everyone.
Eventually it hits.
Yeah.
I just like to think that if that's someone manually doing that, that's their job, just to copy and paste and bullshit to people. I wonder if that's an intern, if that's someone who's the head of marketing for this tiny startup that's trying to get some sort of product sales out there. So,
I don't know, man.
But Boo Road / I guess Spooky Boo Scary Story Time. Anyway, said YouTube needs to remove channels that do false copyright. And I assume you're talking about like the people that do false claims. And the thing, if that's the case, like my thing is like, and I've watched a lot of videos about it. It's like all right, so if as a YouTuber, someone strikes us, 3 strikes, gone. But there is no actual reprimand for filing a strike. So, I mean, people can file strikes all day long and there's no repercussion.
Yeah.
And, they say that the big companies, they just do it for fun. Basically, it's like, they'll see something they don't like, or like say there's a negative movie review about a big, movie company.
Yeah.
They can strike that channel and it's like they don't get anything. I mean, worst case scenario, they get nothing, but they could get all the monetization from it and they could get it shut down. So it's a really flawed system. And from what I understand, there's nothing stopping them from just doing it over and over and over and over.
Yeah, it's really, really bad.
Yeah. So do you guys think, is this the biggest issue on YouTube, or what do you think of all the things YouTube's going through, all the different drama stuff? What do you think the core YouTube problem is?
There's so much wrong with YouTube at the moment. But I think if they were going to start anywhere to try and fix something, I think their copyright policy would be the best place to start. Because with the policy they have in hand right now, it's like we were talking about, anybody can say, oh, well, I own that, so you can't use it, and now you have a strike on your channel. You're putting power in the hands of people who don't understand how much power that is, or they do understand and they're just a terrible person who's trying to ruin somebody's career, And the movie review is a really good example. I don't know if you guys are familiar with I Hate Everything.
I am.
Yeah.
The whole Cool Cat situation.
That's actually what I was thinking about.
Yeah, like he made that. I mean, let's be honest, it was a hilarious video. But like the guy who made the movie just striked his channel because he didn't like what he said in the video. And that's so scary. Like there needs to be something in place to where the person who is making the strike has to do more to prove that, one, they own it, two, it's their original content. And instead of immediately saying, okay, well, you have a strike now, maybe get both of them together with a YouTube rep somehow, like in a Skype call or something, and try and work it out that way.
Exactly.
But instead of just being like, YouTube is kind of like a back seat at the moment when it comes to this copyright thing. They just sit back and let it happen. And it's scary.
Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to, is that YouTube doesn't have your back. It's like you're getting attacked from a third party, and the person, it's like, I'm trying to think of a good scenario, but basically you just have no one in your corner, and you can't even reach out to your own rep, the company you work for. You can't reach out to them for help, or you're just going to get a, automized message.
Exactly.
Like, there's nothing really to help you. And H3H3 had that whole debacle where they did a review of a guy, and he didn't like it, so he striked them. They end up having to take it to court because YouTube's like, settle it yourselves. Luckily H3H3 won, but it's like YouTube still up to it.
Like, you saw how long that took, man.
Yeah, it took them like over a year, didn't it?
Yeah, it was crazy.
And in that time, if they had gotten striked 2 more times, it's gone. Their channel's gone. Like you said, I just don't think they should be able to go straight to channel strike. I think that's unacceptable. I think if a claim is put in, it's reviewed by a live person, and it's said this guy is right, you stole his content, strike. I don't think it should ever go straight to strike.
Yeah, Spooky Whispering made a good point in the chat. He says guilty until proven innocent. And I think that pretty much sums it up. That's what it feels like. And when it comes to YouTube and copyright, you're guilty until proven innocent, which is barbaric, to say the least.
Yeah, there's I'm gonna say this wrong. Is it Dorset Ghosts?
I think it's Dorset Ghost.
Yeah, they had their channel. They had a strike problem because of like their intro music or something, where it got striked for a bunch of their videos. They had to delete everything, and now they were sitting with 1 strike to spare. So they had a side channel that they used, so they just made that their main channel and abandoned their main channel because they didn't want it to get taken down.
Yeah.
Just like overnight since they had built up such a following. Like that's
crazy, man.
terrifying. That's why I'm trying to slowly like build up our social media, other places. So find
Yeah.
us all on Instagram, Twitter, our side channel, Stage Strange, which is our lifeboat. Like, comment, subscribe, because just in case something did happen where everything went downhill. So
Mhm.
I would like Instagram TV to take off because I like that. Twitch, I'm iffy of just because I don't want to have to learn. Twitch seems like has a learning curve to it. I don't know. So
But yeah, like Ethan was saying, you know, our lifeboat channel Stay Strange. Just playing with that has shown me how easy it is to get a strike. Like
Mhm.
even playing a Nintendo game is like guaranteed to give you
man.
6 strikes.
Nintendo is so bad about that.
Yeah, anytime we play Drunk Mario Kart, it's like you have 3 copyright claims for this music.
Yeah.
It's like we're gonna go ahead and take your monetization. It's like joke's on you. We'll never be monetized.
yeah.
But yeah, it's,
Nintendo doesn't get it, man. They don't understand the Let's Play community. It's bad. Like big channels like Jacksepticeye tweeted about his what was the newest Super Mario game?
Odyssey.
Yeah. Every single one of his Mario Odyssey videos was striked by Nintendo. Every single one.
Yeah, like the only non-Nintendo game that's done that to me was BioShock, and that's because it had old-timey music in there.
Oh,
And I counterclaimed. I was like, hey, you know, it's part of the game, and they released it. But Nintendo is like, we don't care. We're popular enough. You can't do this. We're just gonna take your money.
I think like Let's Plays and stuff is like literally like free advertising. I don't see why you would even care unless it's just like a completely 90% like narrative game where you're just gonna see a bunch of cutscenes and that just ruins the whole game and no one's gonna buy it.
Kinda
It's like the only time I could see someone being like, no, we don't want people streaming our content. So
kind of like what's that new game? Detroit Become Human.
yeah.
That's such a narrative. I couldn't imagine watching somebody play that game.
I watched PewDiePie when I'm at work usually, like having like headphones in. I started watching that. I'm just like, I'm literally just watching the whole game right now. Like, what is the whole? It's not even like a gameplay. It's just the game.
Yeah.
Like, why would I even buy this? I don't want to sit through 30 more minutes of this that I've already seen. Like, man.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing. Like back when Let's Plays first started, a couple, you know, game industries were kind of iffy about what they would allow. But then it's kind of become, you know, common knowledge that hey, this is going to get our game out there more than it would otherwise, so we'll allow it. But Nintendo is just like, man.
Yeah, I think it was Sony who tried to copyright the words "Let's Play,"
Yeah,
or trademark it or something.
Yeah, we get so mad at React, whatever it is.
Oh God, React World. What was it called?
Yeah, React World or whatever. But we didn't get mad at Sony.
Yeah.
But I mean, it just all comes down to the terms of conditions being so weird. It's like all these years later, and I still have no idea completely what fair use is, and I don't think YouTube does.
Yeah.
I think it's a case by case situation, and they will change their mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's hard to play, you know, the game of YouTube when you don't even know the rules.
Yeah, it's like you said, especially when they don't even understand the rules.
Yeah. You know? So where do you see things going in the next couple of years? Like, since I mean, your channel, you're growing. Like, what do you think? Are you gonna keep everything on YouTube, or are you gonna try to branch out? Like, where do you see everything going?
I don't know, man. I mean, I've already started changing like my content in general. Like, I stopped doing the story narrations primarily, and now I'm focusing more on like countdown stuff and true crime stuff because I saw so many people having issues with Let's Not Meet. And yeah, I was writing my own stories, but that takes so much time.
Yeah.
And it still got to the point where it was too easy and I wasn't enjoying it. So that's another reason why I switched it up. But I think in the next few years, hopefully YouTube is still a viable source for content creators. And I think we're going to see a huge shift in the narration community. Either it's going to be all fictional stories or all like subscriber submitted stories or whatever, because people are just going to get too wary of Reddit. And
Yeah.
you know, I don't think it'll ever fall off completely, but I think we're going to see a big drop in like new narration channels because people are going to be so afraid to even try it, and people who are doing it are going to do what I'm doing and try to just get away from it completely.
I mean, I can see that. I mean, that's also a good thing where you'd see where bigger channels also have the first mover advantage, so where they could pivot into other things easier. And they even already have the subscriber base, so where they could just go to all fan, like user created content. And that gives people initiative to submit stuff. If you're like, oh, check out this video that's all like user submitted, submit your story here. So, I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You could do all kinds of crazy stuff though. You could go to Apex TV, do all time travel stuff to go really crazy. There's lots of things you could do on YouTube. I don't know.
yeah. One day the strangest is going to be a makeup tutorial channel.
Still, Adina went from being paranormal and unsolved mysteries to doing music reactions, and she went from 4,000 subs to 18,000 subs. Like,
holy hell!
well, yeah, like in 2 months, and now she went from like averaging like a couple of thousand views to where she's averaging like 30 to 40,000 views a video. Wow. I don't know how that works with like if she's making any like AdSense from it, since that stuff probably gets claimed since it's music and she's I don't know. So
I never understood the whole reaction thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've always thought it was really cheap. And I mean, on our side channel, we did a try not to laugh challenge.
You haven't edited mine either. Me and Michael took the time. We filmed it. You didn't edit it.
Sorry, but I'll get to that. But anyway, like I think it's just the cheapest form, especially if it's monetized. Like it's the cheapest thing. Especially, it really used to piss me off. It still does. Like on Facebook, you'll see it where it's just the whole video, and it's the guy in the corner, and he doesn't say a word the entire fucking video. He's just like,
yeah.
And it's like, you are the garbage of the internet. It's like like people are going to end up watching your video over the original, the one that actually put effort into making this, because you're just going to sit there and.
Right.
But you could also use the argument that that's advertising. You're drawing attention to it.
Yeah.
I guess maybe that's the same.
If the content's good enough, you should go follow that person.
Yeah.
Well, look at that from the Reddit perspective, because I mean, from that perspective, I think that's a garbage. That's really just a garbage argument. Like, you're taking away from it, if anything. But
I've had reaction channels DM me on Twitter and email me and be like, "Hey man, would you be fine with me reacting to one of your videos?" I'm like, no.
Especially when you made your own content.
Yeah, like I put work into that, and I don't want you sitting in front of a computer screen and watching it and then monetizing it.
And there's a chance they could shit on it too while they're doing that in front of their users.
Well, I mean, people shit on my content anyway, like in the comment section, so it's fine.
Yeah, but you're giving someone you're giving someone who has an audience, people who will just listen to that person blindly. That's just giving them like a license to shit for no reason. I don't know. Yeah. You'd have to have some sort of as long as you don't say it's terrible. You do the whole I'll copy strike you if it's garbage.
Yeah.
Wolfman
go to the dark side quick.
Wolfman of Fire and Ice said that's why Unit 522 has writers for some of this content that already have the rights to their stories that he uses and gives them permission to use. Yeah, he does. And we're actually doing a collaboration with Unit 522. So
that'd be cool. We've done stuff with him before. So the Long Legs Monster.
And those were submitted by his fans too. So
saying that story that was submitted. That story we did 3 months ago. That was a long time ago.
It's good stuff.
No. But let's see. Hold on, let me see if there's. Oh, do you have any advice for anyone who's thinking about starting a YouTube channel? Because if you try to think about it too much, because even with us, the reason why we started outsourcing everything was I was like, man, people are going to take this too serious, all the images and stuff. It seems like no one really looks at our sources, but if you didn't source it. But do you have any advice for people who might be overthinking it? They're not going to start a channel because of all this stuff.
I mean, the best advice I can give is just do it. You know, because if you want to be a horror narrator, that's fine. Just be aware of what you're getting into, because
Yeah.
there is a lot of drama in the narration community at the moment. But if you're looking to do that, you know, there are sources that you can use, like totally free stock footage and stock photos for your thumbnails that won't get copyright striked. I've been using the same 3 stock photo websites for like the past 2 years, and I've never had a video striked because of some stock footage that I got from those sites. And I also think people are afraid of, you know, not putting out the best quality stuff right at the beginning. And nobody does. You know, nobody starts with like a $300 microphone and a wall covered in sound foam. You know, it takes time to get there. So just do it. I mean, if you have to buy like a $10 microphone that sits on your desk, then that's fine. But at least you're doing what you really want to do. You know, you'll get to the point where you can make the quality, you can get to the quality that you want. But if you never start doing it, you'll never get there, if that makes any sense.
Oh, it definitely does. Sorry to change subject for a second. Thank you so much, White Owl, for the donation.
Thanks, White Owl. We super appreciate it. That's awesome.
Sitting here like, I need to shut the hell up and say thanks.
No, you're fine. I'm just sitting here like, oh no. But thanks. That's awesome. Thanks for being here. Kerri, sorry, what?
Sorry, you can go.
Kerri was kind of chirping in on what we were talking about earlier. She was like, I'm sure this is an unpopular opinion, but reaction channels using your content to react on their channels, is the publicity more beneficial than harmful? I guess we kind of answered that. I think harmful.
I don't know. Nightmare Files did a collaboration like that a few weeks ago, and it was successful for him. But I mean, it was a positive reaction. So I guess if you have the positive reaction with a decent sized channel, that could help you. But at the same time, you have to think about like your niche and everything. Like how many of those people on that channel watch horror stuff? That's why I like trying to do. I like collaborating with people, but I wanted to have some sort of connection. That way, I mean, even with us, like when we're talking with people who do like read stories and stuff, how many are going to transition to ours? So even with Michael Scott's content, where he does mostly like investigations and stuff, how is his subscribers going to come over to us? And we've had a good reaction with both those scenarios. I have no idea how something completely unrelated would, because like they could have their Reddit reaction where like, fuck, that's not real. Fuck you. Dislike.
Yeah.
So
yeah. But like, how would you feel if someone just made a reaction of The Strangest and they just didn't talk the whole time, but they monetize? They have 100,000 viewers. Yeah, so they just monetize your content. Is just their face in the corner.
No. Fuck that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'd be super pissed.
That's not transformative. That's just literally re-uploading. Well, yeah, you're re-uploading my content.
Yeah, talking about like our footage, how we film it, we've had this one thing, like these people, this media group constantly reach out telling us like they want to use what we film in their videos, and they'll just put us like a tiny thing in the corner that says "courtesy of The Strangest."
Yeah,
and I'm like, I don't. That's not going to do much for us.
Write me a fat check, boy.
Michael Scott said reaction channels are garbage, and when someone changes their content just for the views, you know they're on YouTube for the wrong reasons. Oh, and shots fired. But it's funny how whenever we mention Michael Scott, he just appears.
Dude, it's like almost like Beetlejuice. Just mention Michael Scott, he's going to appear. That was really cool when you were on the other day. So
every time he says his name, I can only think of The Office.
I know. I feel like that's got to be his biggest problem, is like people searching for him and then finding The Office. Because I tried to search for him and it just pops up The Office. I'm like, no, not that one.
Blake's first channel had like a similar problem. The other MLB would always just pop up baseball games, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. And when we were coming up with our name, we were trying to think of something that would work out. And I think they were talking about this in the chat earlier about having to like search and see if anyone else had the name. And it turns out after we made ours that there was another, The Strangest, but it was like inactive. It was like kind of like one of those top 10 things you might find in your toilet.
Oh yeah.
And they were gone. So we were like, we'll just, do our own thing. And then when we got in, they started re-uploading stuff. And I was like, oh no. So we had we were like, we got to get to 1,000 so we can get The Strangest URL.
Right.
And we got it. And then now recently, like they had tried to, I guess come back, but now they went from like 1,000 subs to like 4,000, 5,000.
Yeah.
but they only get 4 views a video. It's like someone bought their subs.
Yeah, totally.
They're like we actually had the person who makes their videos, like this Pakistan company, like, oh, we make videos for this channel. We'll make videos for you for $50 a video. Like, no,
Okay.
no.
Yeah.
But that's
on the
what
whole-
I mean. I'm pretty sure like that's what like Watch Mojo and stuff does. Like, they have
Oh,
just
man,
like
Watch
some like
Mojo.
Indian companies churning it out.
Yeah, they churn out like 10 videos a day, dude. It's insane.
Yeah.
Well, like,
They,
go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say they even sent us like a screenshot of their work setup, and they had like it was like a class, like a high school classroom size room that had like 6 cubby holes. Like I guess if you could imagine like your high school like computer classroom where they have like cubby holes of like workstations with like headsets on, just grinding out editing stuff. I'm like, this is rough.
Incredible. I mean, how much
Like-
do they pay an hour? You know what I mean?
And like the only thing they did was like have stock footage of like people laughing, and then they'll have like a little filter of like, you know, dust particles to make it look more official, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
It was really stupid stuff.
That's so crazy, man.
Happy Shadow said, "Watch Mojo throws crap at a wall and sees what sticks." That's
pretty
real.
much. Pretty much.
People just love countdowns.
Yeah, and they're really, since they have like so many people working behind the scenes, they can push out a trending video within a few hours. You know, like it would, like when what was his name? Tentacion, when he passed away, I'm fairly certain they had like a top 10 Tentacion songs within like 3 hours or something, you know? Like, just, it's insane how they
It
do
is. I remember I used to get so triggered because it'd be like about a TV show, and they'd pronounce all the characters' names wrong. I'd be like, "You don't know what you're talking about.
that.
You're just doing this because it's relevant." But
Exactly.
yeah, that's what works. I mean, they got like what 15 million subscribers or something.
That's
It's
ridiculous.
insane.
Like, they have Watch Mojo, they have like a female version of Watch Mojo, which is, I don't know.
Miss Mojo or something.
Yeah, Miss
Yeah.
And they have their Spanish channel and blah 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 blah. It's just insane, dude. But going back to the name thing, it's funny because like my channel name is just like my name. You know, I doxed myself when I made my channel, and it was unique for a little while until Gucci Mane dropped a mixtape titled Mr. Davis. And now every once in a while somebody will be like, "Oh, you named your channel after Gucci Mane's album." I'm like, no, I didn't. He stole it from me, damn it.
Oh, I'd be so upset.
I don't even understand the reference of Mr. Davis for Gucci Mane because I don't listen to him. But when I saw that, I'm like, what? What are the chances?
I mean, that's really cool though when you think about it. I mean, the fact that happened. I mean, it kind of sucks that might kind of hurt, but I mean, you could say you did it first. The company that keeps like emailing us is Valentech, and they manage, hold on, for like using our footage. Supposedly
Use
the richest Sportster, the Gamer, the Things, hold on, and Screen Rant. And like they manage all these people.
But
That's
then all
super-
they do is like they're like, "Oh, well, you know, we'll credit you," and they said something about putting your like channel in the description, but they don't. All they do is it's like in really tiny letters in the bottom of the screen. It'll be like the strangest for a split second.
The interesting thing about that is they're hiring like editors and all this writers and stuff. So if you don't want to make your own content and want to get paid to make someone else's, look up Valentech and you might be able to make some money. I don't know what kind of company, how great they are, but it's interesting.
I stalked them a little bit. Apparently, it's really shitty to work for them. Their Glassdoor is really bad.
Yeah, I would imagine.
People were just like saying they rush you for more content than they don't pay you for any more of it. So it's
I mean, if you're thinking about it, if you're in college and you're actually interested in YouTube, but you don't have like your own channel or anything, if you could somehow get like a job at a bigger like channel, like a BuzzFeed type, or either you host or write or do something where you could build off of that, that's a good way to start. That's how a lot of like, if you look at just 100,000 sub YouTubers, a lot of them are old hosts from other channels that built a little bit of a following and then quit and did their own thing. So
yeah.
I mean, even like Sam Sheffer, who's like on like Casey Neistat stuff, he wrote for Mashable and like TechCrunch and stuff, and now he's got his own thing, and now he's still piggybacking off of Casey Neistat. So you could do it. just climb off the backs of everybody and go. So I don't know.
One really weird connection is Michael Stevens, the guy who runs Vsauce.
Yeah.
He started by making videos for that old website, Barely Political.
Yeah.
That's how he got started. So, I mean, if you think it'll work out, go for it, I guess.
That's also, hold on, something also with the Vsauce guys is all three of like the main Vsauce channels. They used to, they all worked for Google at one point, which is also kind of like they could have known people. It's like, hey, keep me on that trending page.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
help me out a little bit in that algorithm. Come on.
Right.
So
Spooky Whispering said, "Why I left BuzzFeed." I've seen at least 5. It's like, why I left BuzzFeed. But yeah, it's just, you get those conglomerate channels, and they care about is content and getting out there. They really don't care about anything else. I've seen so many stories about, BuzzFeed stealing stories from like notable people too.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't care. It really comes down on YouTube as if you have more subscribers, you came up with that content.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you did or not. And that's kind of why I don't like reaction channels, because it's like, well, this guy has 1 million subscribers. The guy who made it only has 100, so this guy made it.
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
Oh, that's also another thing with Reddit that we didn't talk about is Reddit's really harsh to critique YouTubers, but the whole thing where Reddit's like take something, they're like, I made this is my post. Like Reddit reposts are like notorious. In fact, my highest Reddit post is just a repost that I did, and it got a ridiculous amount of views. So you can really, if you find a repost that panders, you could just like be on that front page in no time. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Spooky said I should join BuzzFeed and then quit. That's something I would fucking do.
If you have the time and the resources, you could literally build a portfolio off of like Reddit posts you write, like if you're doing like paranormal stuff, and show this to like an up and coming either YouTuber or website to become a writer, maybe become like someone who hosts it or be the voice of it, build up your own little audience, quit, have your own little personal channel on the side. If you have the time to do all this, you could make a career just off of like these steps. You just have to have the time. You can't be trying to like put food on your table at the same time and work another job. I don't know. Right. So if you're a college kid that your parents are like paying for your stuff, or even high school, if you got that nice life, you could do it. And if you have that nice life, enjoy it while you can.
Yeah.
The real world sucks.
Adulting is hard.
It is. Happy Shadow said, just going to be honest, I'm a narrator, but I'm on Reddit's side. And I think everyone's kind of on Reddit's side on this one. I mean, it's, being a part of the YouTube community, it sucks to say, oh, I'm against YouTube on this one. But I mean, it does come down to stealing someone's brainchild and then passing it off as your own.
Right. Yeah.
Benefiting from it, it's hard to justify. So that's why the whole story, like the whole lesson to be learned from this is try your best to get permission. At the very least, credit your sources.
Yeah.
Like I think that's the very least you can do. If you don't do that, you kind of deserve it. Yeah. Whatever happens.
Or maybe just don't like make a complete, if you're making it your career, don't make your complete career off of it. That way, if you like get demonetized off of it, then like it doesn't kill you right away. I mean, I guess, I don't know, plan around it. At least now for people starting out. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but that's another thing that we've kind of talked about. The React channels is like, how are they not getting striked left and right? Like, I mean, they're just straight using someone else's content, which, I mean, it is. Some people put their own spin on it by adding their own commentary, but like, I don't know. It just seems like it's not something I would feel safe about. I would definitely feel like at some point I could lose everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, you guys got any closing thoughts? Anyone else from the chat? You guys want to say anything else?
I got nothing.
Nothing else. Hold on, Spooky just said something really long that I'm struggling to read.
She said, but I was freaking stoked when I was listening one day there is more to it, isn't there? She said, Reddit was my start too, but I was freaking stoked when I was listening one day and the first few words of the story sounded familiar. And then I was like, holy shit, my favorite narrator picked my story. Yeah. And that's really cool. And I hope they, actually sourced you, credited you.
Yeah. But, and that's my thing. Like I said earlier, like at the very start, if I put something on Reddit, I don't expect it to be out in the open. And if someone picked it up, that'd be almost really cool and stuff. In fact, like when I post like our scripts and stuff, I almost like the upvote to disvote ratio is kind of how I grade myself on it if the post like takes off. So it gives me kind of like other feedback from people who aren't like on YouTube. Because also like the problem with YouTube is if you're not, if you can really come confined to your own audience and not really hear you could just become closed off saying like, oh, someone's just trying to troll and say shitty things. I'm going to remove that comment. But if you post something to Reddit, you kind of get like different feedback. So
Yeah.
Another funny thing about the stream, like there was a couple of posts I really wanted to talk about on Reddit about the issue, but I sent them messages and they didn't get back to me.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to use their content without asking them in a fucking stream about using content without permission. So, oh
you
well.
just have to change it, man. Make it yours. Make it derivative. I mean, just change it. Just make it a little bit different. So.
Oh man. But yeah, as far as the whole situation, I think that's really all we have to talk about right now. I think I definitely think it's going to unfold more. I think it's going to get worse. I don't think it's going to get better.
Yeah, I don't really think at this point there's nothing that we can do as YouTubers to make it any better, because I mean Reddit's such a huge platform, and as we've said, the people on Reddit they can be toxic, and they can, they definitely go for what they want, and I think they're going to get it in the end. They're going to have it their way, and maybe it's for the best. Who knows?
It might be.
The Corpse Husband commented, "Hey, Corpse Husband, you want to be on a live stream sometime?" Hold on.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah, Corpse Husband said, we were warned in the beginning when Lazy first got his strike in like 2015. Anyone around then was very aware of the rules and how they work after that and did it knowingly. Did something happen? There was a recent channel. I'm not going to name it. I don't want to, send any bad press. But there was a channel that got hit really hard by by not crediting sources, and it's with YouTube the way it's been lately. It just seems like a really relevant topic, and people in the Reddit community seem to be getting more riled up about the subject. So it seems like this is, it happened big in 2015. It's apparently, rearing its head again, and a lot of people aren't crediting their sources again.
Yeah, it seems like it's mixed with the whole adpocalypse thing where people are getting just like mass like demonetized, and noticing where their view count, if they've not been completely demonetized, just notice like a big drop off in views to where they're not just able to make it as much anymore. It's just like a big difference than what it was before. So
yeah, but again, I don't think that the YouTube side has a leg to stand on this one. I mean, you can argue that it's fair use by putting it out there, but it's still, even Reddit does verify that, hey, this is still your brainchild. You still have the rights to your content.
Right.
So I really, and with YouTube as a platform, not even having a dog in this fight, they don't care what happens to you. They're just going to go by whatever comes to them. Like it's a lose-lose situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we tried to get the original guy, the guy who posted the 2015 thing on Reddit. We tried to get him on here, but he never responded. And that account looks like it hasn't even posted anything since then. So that might have even been a throwaway account. So how do you know? Throwaway accounts.
Corpse Husband said, if the person doing it was around in 2015, then they know what they were doing, and it sucks that the Reddit community as a whole would be the face of that, unfortunately. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I'm not 100% sure if the person was around then. I feel like they probably were, but I guess, sometimes if you don't know the history, it repeats itself. But Orange said, how do horror channels break copyright? That's basically just using stories without permission.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were to upload someone else's video on YouTube as your own, it would get striked most likely. You're saying that this is your content. And when you're getting monetized, it is if I'm not mistaken, we're new to the monetization thing, but in the monetization rules, it does say, this is my content. You're verifying this is yours. Like everything in this video is yours. And when you do that, and it's not, especially when you don't have permission, it is, breaking copyright.
Right.
Spooky said, Reddit also states in their terms of services that they have the right to your brainchild too. Yeah. we did talk about that a little bit. So Reddit can steal your content. Technically, like we mentioned earlier, Reddit could, as a company, strike all of the accounts that use Reddit stories and say this is ours.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if they have the ability to overturn someone's previous permission. I don't think they'd ever do that, but it's just something they could do.
Yeah, I have like a 3-thing Reddit conspiracy theory video idea that we have a plan to write. That I found some interesting things where I think Reddit's going from being like an anonymous website to being a social media website, and it's something you wouldn't really think of. But if you look at the like redesign and everything, I think it's going to move towards that way in the way they're like purging certain content. So, I mean, they're going through their own revolution too. So, and this might be a way to kind of control what's on their website or control what's coming from it. Like YouTube has like the stricter, like we can strike, we can stop, put it into it. Whereas like BuzzFeed's a giant company now. How are you going to like have BuzzFeed on the soldier and be like, do you not like take our comments or whatever? I don't know how realistic that is compared to small YouTubers.
As an avid Redditor, I could absolutely see them moving towards making it more of a social media site than what it is right now.
Yeah, I even have a thing where I was reading a book that one of the founders of Reddit was even mentioning and talking about it. So I think that's kind of what it's moving towards. And the redesigns really, if you like I said to begin with, I was really iffy of Reddit because I hated the design of it. Now that I love Reddit, I really hate the redesign of Reddit.
Yeah, it took a little while to get used to, but they have definitely been making moves towards more social media. I don't know for the word I'm looking for, but I think they are making that switch very slowly because Reddit, the people of Reddit are not happy with change.
Yeah. I mean, it's a unique like culture to begin with, community. So
yeah, but like now they have instant messaging on Reddit.
Yeah.
Like you can IM with your other Redditors, which is insane. It's been awesome for me because I can get in touch with no sleep authors really easily now instead of having to check my DMs and stuff. But I don't know. It's going to be strange to see where Reddit goes and where YouTube goes, really.
Yeah. I mean, I was gonna say I could almost see like the instant messaging and stuff like that must be a way they kind of counteract. I could almost see, I know Discord's for like gamers and stuff, but I could almost see how you could use Discord, like certain servers, almost like micro Reddits, and some Reddits, even some subreddits have Discords to make like a more faster real time like connection. So I mean, in a way, like it's got more competition, and now more since it's such a big site, so much money and everything's on the line. You got to think about all the ads and all that, and Reddit Gold. So
yeah, Discord's cool, but I don't know. I hope that Reddit does, kind of become more of a social media platform just to kind of weed out some of the trolls that are just like, it's such an anonymous site. People can do whatever they want to.
Yeah,
that's what makes it fun, man. You gotta have some wild west of the internet, man. That's what makes the internet great. It's some crazy shit. So you can't police everything. I mean,
the world's too SJW for that, though. It'll come around. Can't be free that long.
In fact, you could almost use the internet to argue that, like the internet, like being people be able to act out their lives and stuff, or in different ways on the internet, has stopped crime, like serial killing and stuff has gone down because people don't have to suppress those feelings. They have like a fantasy life online where they say a bunch of crazy shit to people and it's anonymous, and they don't keep that built up. So I don't know.
Yeah. Teach their own, I guess.
Right.
Hopefully that's what's going on. Or hopefully they're not. I mean, it also, on the flip hand, it's like it gives them more ideas of how to get away with murder and stuff like that. Because now they can just, Google. I don't know. It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
But yeah. So as far as closing thoughts, I think we've covered just about everything there is right now. We'll just have to see how it goes. I do think there is going to be a big change coming in the coming year to years, but I just think that Reddit has got it in their mind. They're going to start targeting these channels more and more.
Right. Yeah.
Especially when they see that it can affect a channel so negatively.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can almost say like this is the whole regulating the internet thing with like the end of net neutrality and everything that's happening overall. And this is you're seeing the trickle down effect into Reddit and YouTube and everything. And this is almost like those sites preparing for something bigger that might come. You never know. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all scary. But thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Oh
Thank
yeah,
you
dude,
for
absolutely.
yeah, taking the time because this was a long one. Thank you for Kerri for telling us like the topic, getting all this started on Discord and everything, and Margbot for stopping in. We were supposed to have Pink Spooky on here, but she was still like she had surgery. She's still recovering, so keep her in your thoughts because I mean she's awesome. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to everyone. Mr. Davis, Margbot, Pink Spooky. Follow Kerri on Twitter. She's awesome.
Everyone's YouTube and everything, all that information's in the description below. So if you guys want to check that out. And like we said earlier, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell button, and every other step you have to do to possibly see a video that we upload.
Yeah, I should have a video in the next like 2 or 3 days or whenever it happens. Corpse Husband, if you want to be on the live stream, we'd love to have you on or collaborate in some way. But thank you guys for watching this. We really, really appreciate you taking the time. So,
yeah. So we're, again, glad everyone came. We appreciate you joining on the conversation. And until next time, stay strange.